What is up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 1, 2, 3 of That's whY2K. Gen Z has the floor, season 2. Stanley, I'm never going to get tired of saying that. If you don't know by now, my name is Nisaa Muhammad. I am the program specialist at the YWCA Family Resource Center. And today with me, I have my favorite mic drop king, the one and only Stanley Stoutamire.
Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm super glad to still be here. I'm having a great time. I'm so excited.
I know, right? It's like the fact that we keep going. It's almost like the Energize button. We're just gonna keep going and going, and having a great time. It's almost like a little therapy session almost for me. I love it. So we have a special surprise for y'all. I know y'all are used to seeing like this person and that person, and we might, pull Beyonce out of the hat because we got it like that. Not really, but that would be cool. But today, it's just me and Stanley. We rocking today, solo dolo, or would it be dulo, tulo? I don't know, but it's the two of us today, and we're super excited about the conversation we're having, which is funny because this episode is actually called I2, and so it's two of us. You see how that worked out? Perfect. So let's get a little bit into it. So, Stanley, what's the update with you? How are you doing? How is school? How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. This week, at the beginning of this week, I thought this week was going to be like really rough, but as I've been going through it, it's actually not been that bad. So I've been pretty good.
Shouts to that. We love to hear it. Okay. And has it gone pretty fast for you, like the week and everything like that?
Yes.
Love it. We love it.
Today kind of feels like a Friday, honestly.
Yeah. I've been feeling Friday all day. It's like 72 degrees. I'm like, ooh, got my sandals on. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. I love it. Okay, y'all. So you know how this goes. We're going to get into what's up with that. This one bothers me, y'all, because I don't know if y'all remember I said it last season. I said something about how the mistreatment of Black women doesn't arouse the same anger as it does for Black men, right? So, y'all, when I say the name Brittney Griner, right? So she is a 7-time, not 1, not 2, not 3 or 4, but 7, a 7-time WNBA All-Star winner, champion, okay? She plays for the Phoenix Mercuries. And apparently she was playing a game in Moscow or coming from Moscow, and she was arrested at the airport on February 17th. Think about what day it is. Today is what?
March 17th.
March 17th. So a month ago, she was arrested for, apparently they said like they found vape cartridges in her luggage, and allegedly they were filled with like some type of cannabis infused whatever, or the cannabis derived oil. So technically it just came from cannabis. It wasn't cannabis or whatever. And that's a 10-year maximum sentence in Russia, right? So first of all, we didn't know about this when it immediately happened. It came out way later, like mid-March. Technically, we're mid-March, so oh my goodness. And we had no updates for a while, but we got one today saying that they're holding Miss Griner in Russia in jail until May 19th. Y'all, May 19th is 2 months away. Like, let's be honest, 2 months while they pin an investigation. What's up with that?
It's insane. That's like, and Russia's like already in Ukraine right now. So I mean, like, that's terrifying.
I think I'm just pretty much like, why, like, get our sis out of there, like get her out of, like, I don't know. I don't know. For me, I'm concerned. There are too many situations where women end up missing. You think of Sandra Bland, you think of like just women who end up missing in these prisons. And I she has a family, she has children. Bring her home, please. Bring her home. Bring her home. I don't care if you gotta write it off. It's like, oh, just not knowing the customs. Just bring her home, please. So we are praying for the safe return of Brittney Griner, and hopefully it doesn't take till May 19th to get her home, because my God. So yeah, that's our what's up with that. So fan camp time, okay? And I might want to like infuse some type of cool little drum or something, or have Stanley play the trumpet, But so this one time at band camp, y'all, we're talking about I2. And when we say I2, we're basically talking about the belonging. We're talking about being here, being a person as well, being seen as one. So this one time at band camp, I was watching TV and there was this girl who came across the screen and she was kind of sporty but still girly and she had like really cute perm in her hair and she had like all this personality and all she wanted to do was be an actress. And her name was Brianna Barnes and from the show 101. And one time at band camp, that was the first time I saw someone who completely reminded me of myself on TV. So yeah, Stanley, what's your band camp story?
Okay, so I can't really remember like the first time I remember seeing someone that looked like me, but I know like definitely the most impactful time was being in the movie theater for Black Panther and like, oh my gosh, just like being surrounded in the movie theater by people that look like me and then seeing people on screen that look like me. Oh my gosh, that movie.
It was a moment, okay? Like people
Yes.
were dressed in the African garb, and there was a moment, like, and it was a great film. It wasn't like we were
Yeah.
showing up for something because we had to. It was like
It
this was
was
a great film.
genuinely good.
There was no trauma. Like
Hmm.
shout out to that. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. You now and forever are our king to us. We love you. Okay. Yes, definitely. Are you excited for Black Panther 2? This is
I am
off topic,
so
but
excited for Black Panther too. I was
I'm
at
nervous.
first I was a little nervous because I was like, how are they going to do this without Chadwick? But then they said that they weren't going to like recast him or try to like do any CGI stuff, and I was like, okay, they
Yeah.
got this.
Okay. Yeah, because I heard rumors that they're gonna try to get Winston Duke Mbaku to maybe
Hmm.
like. So we're gonna see. I'm super excited. And I might, who knows? Like tonight, I might end up watching Black Panther again because yeah, Stanley, I'm there with you. I actually saw the movie 5 times when it came out in theater, paid for
Oh,
every single time.
me
Yeah,
too.
it was a moment. It really was. I love that, and that yeah, that was definitely a big moment. Absolutely, that was a good one, Stanley. I love that. Yeah. Okay, y'all. So y'all know how this goes. I'm going to actually put my skills to the test and recite a poem for y'all. Bet y'all didn't know I was a poet. Y'all learning that today. So I'm actually going to recite a poem for you all. For those of you who don't know, this man was actually born on the first day of Black History Month, right? He's a poet. He is an author. He's a novelist. I'm a playwright. He is Langston Hughes, okay, the infamous Langston Hughes, and he was a poet during the Harlem Renaissance. Google it, y'all. If y'all don't know what it is, Google it. Like Stanley said, Google is free, okay? And it was actually a wonderful time for music and arts for the Black world and the Black community. So Google it. But here's the poem. I feel very Maya Angelou-ish, just very like, So the poem is called I Too. Y'all see what I did there? Okay, go. So I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I will be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Stanley, what did you pull from that? Like, when you first heard it, because I know my first time hearing it was in school. And I was like, yo, this is dope. Like, this is really good. And I really dove into him and the Harlem Renaissance as a whole. I thought I was a whole poet out here or whatever. So what do you think of this poem? What do you think it says?
To me, it says that he's like almost like he's not letting like what other people think of him or expect him to how other people expect him to act. He's not letting that like hold him back. And he's saying that they're like what they've put on him, he's not going to put on himself, kind of. You know what I mean? And like he's going to transcend them, the
I love
racism.
I love that. Absolutely. Come on, Stanley. Y'all, this is why this man is the mic drop king. You see that? That's your symbol, mic drop king. Okay. Yes, absolutely. I think that's a really good way to look at it. It almost reminds me of like Zora Neale Hurston said, like, when she's faced with like racism and prejudice, she's like, I don't get offended. At first I used to get sad, but then I'm like, how could you deny yourself my company? Like, oh, that's so sad. And it almost reminds me of that. It's like, you'll be ashamed. Like you'll see how wonderful I am as a person. You'll see I'm great at this. You'll see what you were missing. And then you'll be like, we should have treated this person as such. Um, And so, yeah, almost like he's like, there's no, I don't feel bad, or I'm not ashamed when you all send me away or shun me, or you want nothing to do with me, or you make fun of me, because I know that at the end of it, you will all look to me and be like, you know what? This person is actually pretty cool. They have something to offer here. And that's always what I've taken from it. It's almost like a well-kept, like, ha, I've got a good secret. Like, you don't know what's going on, but you might want to get on this on the ground floor, buddy, because I'm pretty lit over here. So yeah, that's a good one. Now I have to ask you, because I always want to know with the younger generations, are you familiar with Langston Hughes's work, or even like the Harlem Renaissance itself?
So I'm really not. I use the word really question. I'm familiar with Langston Hughes and like the Harlem Renaissance, but it's something that I'm familiar with not because of like we of school, but like because of like stuff out of school, like church and stuff like that, like a Black History Month program and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, I like that, because schools tend to kind of give you the same thing with Black history. Like you kind of get, the four you're gonna get though: George Washington Carver, Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Sir John Truth. Like you're gonna get maybe a Thurgood Marshall, like maybe. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just think there's a lot more to know. You know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
it's really dope that you got that. Even if it had to be like outside of it, I think that's great. Now, do you think that there is I don't know, like where because I know kids don't really go, y'all don't really go to the library. Like that's a my generation thing, I think. So, and then outside of like school reading, I'm sure y'all don't want to be like reading all this extra stuff. So like how do we get young people into looking up things like the Harlem Renaissance, or reading about stuff outside of just the school books? I
I
stress them
think
out.
I'm trying to think. Maybe if there were, I feel like if there were more, I guess this is a weird statement. If there were more like people on like TikTok and Instagram, like the apps that were on like 24/7, every day of the week, like pushing this type of stuff, I don't know. I feel like we'd be more into it.
Oh, like they made it fun.
Yeah.
You know what? There's this girl on TikTok. I saw her a while back, and she kind of did a video explaining early what was going on in Russia. I don't know if you've seen it. She went viral. And I was like, I understand history. Like, I understand politics right now. Because you've heard me say, I said it last season, y'all, no shame in my game. When it comes to politics, I really need to do a lot of research before I get to talking about it. So when she was breaking it down, I was like, okay, all right, this makes sense. I get it now. I know what's happening. So yeah, I agree with that. Like I think there is certain ways that people learn. And if we bring it to you all in a way that you want to learn it and that you can grasp it, I think it's something that'll stick with you. Like we used to learn through music. I learned through music. You give me a song with something stuck in my head. That's how I learned the 50 states. Stuck in my head.
I totally feel that because I remember we had a water, I don't remember how it goes, but we had a water cycle song in like first grade, and I know about evaporation now. So
I love it. That is hilarious. Yeah, like it's something about music. Music will really like it'll have you like, have you seen they remix the alphabet?
is it the one where they like separated like the letters? Oh my gosh,
No
it's
one's learning that alphabet.
no.
We're not learning it. I just want you all to know it's not gonna happen. Okay, let's get back on in here. So we did the poem. So you already know I'm coming with the disclaimers. I have to. Please note, the following conversation is not meant to offend anyone, but to educate, right? So in order for people to do better, they must know better. Therefore, a conversation needs to be had. So Stanley, I'm going to give you a word, right? It's a tough word. It's a hard word. When I tell you it's so tough, you're going to be thinking on it for like the next 20 minutes. Ready?
Okay.
Define what an ally is. You stressed, y'all.
Oh my God. I guess to me, I think of an ally as kind of like basically just like a friend. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
someone who, like you know that if something happens, they'll have your back, basically.
Okay. I like that. I like that. So is it like a friendship that is conditional? Is it a, like what type of like because you know, people have friends. There's frenemies, there's besties, there's not your bestie, but you see them in school and y'all hang out, but y'all don't hang out during the summer. Like,
I think for an ally, it's kind of like we might not like be like close, but if I see you in need, I'll help. You know what I mean?
I like that. I like that. So it's almost like we don't have to be like we don't have to talk every day. But if you
Right.
reach out, I like that, Stanley. I really like that. I really like that. You have me thinking about like when you think of relationships, people are like, you're never there for me. And it's like, okay, am I never there for you or am I human and going through stuff too? So I like that a lot. So an ally. I love how Stanley put it, and I really kind of feel like mine's is kind of babyish now. But in my opinion, I would say an ally basically, they are like, you know how you have a good angel and a bad angel on your shoulder in the cartoons? They're like, they refuse to go over here with the bad angel. Like, they're always on the good side. They're always on the side of good. They're always on the side of
Man,
practical. They're always on the side of what's right for just the good of humanity. You know what I mean?
I
Um,
do. I really do. I because like it's like there are some people where it's like you can't. I don't. Yeah, you can't like count on them to always like do the right thing like for you and for other people. But then there are those some people where it's like I know that if I really need you, if my back's against the wall, I can call this person.
Yeah, that. Like, I think yeah, that's it right there. Like, an ally is somebody, my mom used to say all the time, a real friend is someone you don't have to feel like you need to watch. And an ally is someone who is there to help and you don't feel like you need to watch them. Like, that's
Mhm.
my definition of it, right? So in real life, y'all, in the world not ran by Stanley and me, where we just make up and give our own definitions to words. An ally is someone or an organization that supports the good of something against all odds, right? So even if everyone else is going left, if right is the right way, they're like, we're going to do this. And I mean that in terms of like, if everyone else is turning this way and this way is the wrong way, they're like, well, we're going to go over here where people need help and we're able to give resources and all that good stuff. And that's just treating humans as humans. That's what an ally does, right? Even if it makes them look like a bad person to people who don't get it. Or even, you know, if you think of Bishop Desmond Tutu, he said that if you're neutral in situations of injustice, then you have chosen the side of an oppressor, of the oppressor, right? So an ally is not neutral. They outright are saying, this is wrong. I stand against this as well. And I'm over here with the people who are fighting to make it right. That's like, you know, the official definition. But me and Stanley's, you know, the kids would have watched that on TikTok, Stanley. They would have loved that. Okay. We went viral with that on TikTok. Okay. We did our dance on TikTok and went viral with it. Yeah. So tell me, why is allyship important?
I think allyship is really important, especially for like the Black community, because like I think back to like with the civil rights movement, it's like there weren't any Black people in like Congress who could pass all the different laws and all the bills. There had to be people there that were willing to stand with us and do that.
There it is again. Yeah. No, I definitely like that, Stanley. I think like when you think of an ally, it's like you have to know that you're not going to be able to make every step, right? Like you can even go back and think of like pre-civil rights era, right? So I think of Harriet Tubman, right? So everybody's favorite for Black History Month to bring up. Well, if there were no allies to help her like get people along the Underground Railroad, because there were safe houses that were owned by white people, and they were like, this is, you know, they have the secret messages. This is a safe house. You guys can come and hide here. If we didn't have those allies, how much harder it would have been, you know, because Black people didn't own boats to get across any type of like rivers or lakes or whatever was needed there. So I definitely think it's important to remember that allyship is important because sometimes your allies are in places that you're not able to get.
Right.
It's almost like a VIP concert. Like if your friend has the ticket, like, hey, how you doing? backstage, huh? That's pretty cool. You know, I'd like to meet Michael Jackson too. I'm just saying. So yeah, like that. I agree with that. Um, Now, do you think that it's easy to have conversations about like the race conversations, like especially like with your friends who may look different from you or even think different than you? Because let's be honest, not all skin folk are can folk, and that just is what it is. Do you think it's easy to have those conversations?
I it's tricky. I feel like, especially for people my age, it's really difficult to have those conversations because we don't really know how to start them or how to. I feel like sometimes it's like we don't have the tools to have the conversation. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
we've got all the materials for the house, but we don't really have like the hammers and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you have everything. Like when you get a package to like a new desk from IKEA, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, it comes with the little screw thingy, but it's like, but where's the drill? Because we need the drill for this.
exactly.
Yeah. So how do you suggest y'all start that? Like I know you said for certain things, TikTok could be the thing for learning things, but what about when it comes to those conversations? Because Generation Z, you all are um I think my opinion, I think you all are the most inclusive and accepting generation. Like you all just love people, and I think that's so dope. But how do you all have the conversations that are harder to have, like with older generations or people who may not be as open?
I think we have those conversations. I think it starts with like building trust with people because a lot of times when you try to have this conversation, like on the internet, when you see people try to have like complicated conversations, it kind of like devolves into like a screaming match, and people and it's silly, but like it has like actual effects, and so like in real life, it's kind of difficult because it's like you don't want to like start a conversation with someone that you know isn't going to go anywhere, and that might set you back and set them back. You know what I mean? So I feel like
Yeah.
it starts with like building trust with people and creating an environment where it's like one thing we talked about at Heritage Panel training was that whenever you're trying to have a discussion with someone, you cannot win a discussion. It's not an argument.
I like
You
that.
gotta learn not to like fight. So that's something that I really took away from that training.
I like that. And shout out Heritage Panel, shout out Alumni, shout out America who introduced me to what Heritage Panel even was. I think that's a good one. And I know when you're in a Heritage Panel, which for those of you who don't know, it's basically a safe way and a safe space for people to have conversations about prejudice and discrimination and things like that. For you like to really break it down and learn it. I remember there was one thing that always stuck out to me, and it was like assume good intention, like that was one
Mm,
of the rules. And I think when you're talking things like race, especially, it's always, always, always helpful to assume, especially if you have like a relationship with the person, assume good intention. Assume that they're not meaning to be harmful or mean. They're just trying to teach you something that you may not know. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times if you take on like, oh, I'm offended, it's like, why are you offended? I'm trying to help you learn something that could help you in the long run because someone else ain't gonna talk to you about it. They might just want to throw hands. Like
right.
let me give you this lesson. So I think that's a good one. You have them by having a safe space to have them because that's a big deal. If you don't feel safe, you won't have the conversation. You assume good intention, and then Stanley, yours was tell me again because my brain is fried.
Um. Oh, you can't win a discussion.
Can't win a
That's what it was.
discussion. Yeah. So almost don't even go into it like on the defense. Go into it ready and open.
Right.
Yeah. And that I think that'll be, yeah. Because could you imagine if everyone were able to have conversation like that? Like how much we would thrive as a people being able to have those types of conversations.
And one thing that I've noticed over the years talking to people is that people's point of view and like what they believe has a lot to do with like their lived experience. You know what I mean? So
Explain for
like
the people who don't get it.
so like when someone says something that you don't agree with, it's probably because they've had a different experience than you and they're coming from like a totally different perspective that you're coming from. They
Yeah.
might have a family member in their background that's different from a family member in your background, or they might have gone through something that you've never gone through. And I think that it's really important to remember that like what you know about someone isn't like their entire life.
Yeah. People are not, what do they say? People are not one-dimensional. Like there's plenty of shells. Like in Shrek, he's like, onions have layers, ogres have layers. Well, people have layers too. Yeah. And I also think it's important to realize, like, to that point, that some people, like when you're going to have that conversation, some people weren't raised in an environment where those conversations were okay, or they were raised in an environment where the background or the culture of where they're from was like, oh, this is acceptable. You know, so I had an experience with someone where they told me they were raised in a home that was prejudiced towards, like, I think the Asian community or something like that. And so when she grew up, she had this perception of Asian people, but it was not her perception, right? But she had no other way to kind of figure them out until she ended up like being partnered up with an Asian person for a class. And then they got to really know each other. And she was like, oh my God, everything I thought I knew was completely incorrect. So I think it's really like, when you're going to have these conversations, take into account like a number of things, but really that people don't know what they don't know. And people don't know you. So when you're having the conversation, realize that this is your opportunity to speak up on your behalf. Not necessarily for the entire race, but for you. And say, hey, I'm a different type of, like, let me tell you how I work. And then maybe you can kind of learn how to deal with other people who look like me. Yeah. Whew, heavy stuff, man. Heavy stuff. So let me ask you this. Was there a moment that you, Stanley, that you realized that you were a minority, not Black, right? Because I feel like we have a moment where we all realize, I'm a Black person. But when you realize that being Black made you a minority.
Gotta think on this one.
I know. Let me get to thinking while I'm asking questions. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Because you never think about it. Like it never crosses your mind. Like you can answer the Black question all day, but when did you realize you were the minority?
Jeez. That's such a good question because I've never thought about it before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think for me, like while you think, I'm really, really going through my head. And the only reason I say this is because I've always, my neighborhood growing up, it was a mixed neighborhood. There were more Black people. My school was an entire Black school, as far as like student body. And even in college, like I went to a Catholic institute, but it was, I mean, I was a minority there, but I think the first time I really, really realized I was a minority was when I was applying for college. Let me tell you why. Because when you apply for college, you do this little thing called filling out scholarships. And on these scholarships, they have things like minority scholarships and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I went to apply for one, or went to read like the prerequisites for one. And I realized in bold letters, if you are Black or African American, if you're this, if you're that, you're considered a minority. And I was like, wait a minute. Like I was shocked. I was like, really? Because I think growing up, we're taught that people from other countries or whatever the case may be are, they're like considered minority. So to know that I too, as an American, was in that number, it was like, whoa. Like that was, and I was every bit of 18, but I was still like, yo, I'm really like, y'all really consider me a minority for real.
I guess it would probably be, got it. So I think it would be, on like the Disney Channel, like those kids show lineups, and there was always just like only like one Black person. That I think that would probably be it.
Stanley, do you know how crazy that is? Because when I was your age and coming up, majority of the people on TV looked like me. Like we had our own channel. We had UPN. This is before BET. And it was all Black shows all the time. Yeah, like so that's interesting to know that just a generation over, you like TV is that's wild. Wow. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. That is very interesting. Huh. It was like that's the almost like that's the diversity count right there. Like there it is right there.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Like
is
in the board meeting, they had someone said, "Well, hold on."
we gotta be inclusive. Here you go. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, Stanley, I think that is it. That speaks to the generational differences for real. And it's like, what happened in media? Like at one point, we had all these shows and all this stuff. What happened that it flipped to where now we don't even see ourselves on TV? Hmm. Stanley, man, you gave me something to think about, and you aged me a little bit. So I'm not gonna lie. But you know what's interesting though? You just made me think. Raven Simone actually, and I can't believe I'm old enough to be older than this, I think, or be the same age of it, maybe older, I don't know. But Raven Simone actually, she is the first Black woman to have a show, a star in a show about Black people on Disney Channel, like to have her own sitcom. She's the first Black woman to have her own sitcom on Disney.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And she came out in 2000. That I got to do that because I don't need to know my age. But like in that year, to think of it to be the first Black TV show on that channel, it's like what? Because we've been because I mean,
And now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I'm trying to think of the show. I guess because That's So Raven,
yeah.
that ended before I was really like watching TV. So,
And I think that
and
was
then
probably
the
the last
Proud
thing I
Family.
watched.
I think I missed the Proud Family.
Stanley, the Proud Family was a moment. So before you watch the new one, go watch the old one and get all of that, okay? Because it was lit, okay? You gotta understand with it Kelly, Michael, all of that. So yeah, before you watch the new one, go watch the old one with the Destiny's Child theme song, okay? Yes. Wow. So you don't know who like Jet Jackson is and any of that? Fillmore? None of this is ringing a bell. Superhero Static Shock.
Static Shock. Okay, so I also missed Static Shock,
Yeah.
right? But I would see him in other stuff, right? Like he would turn up in like an episode of Justice League that was still in reruns, but Static Shock was not in reruns.
Yeah.
So I knew about Static, but like the biggest person I can think of is probably Zendaya, like on Shake It Up. Yeah.
You know, we love Zendaya. We love Day. We really do. You know, that's our girl. However, that's not fair. That is not fair. Because y'all want like when I say like we had shows, man, we had shows, man. Okay. Kenan and Kel, like we had shows. That is insane. Wow. Okay, so that leads into my next question, right? We'll come back because I'm jumping around here at this point. Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. So I'm gonna come back to the other question. So why do you think representation is important? Because you've blown my mind.
There was something we were talking about representation at school. Someone I forget. Anyway, representation is really important because like you know that Pixar movie? That Pixar movie? The new one with the panda.
Oh, red, turning red, seeing
Red, turning
red,
red.
something red. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the main character is an Asian, like teenage girl, um, and it's gotten a lot of like a lot of the negative reviews for it are are saying that they can't relate to her story, and that they're not the intended, what do you call it, intended audience, that they can't relate to that, and yeah, and it's frustrating on like multiple levels
Yeah.
because like that's like basically what happens when that's what it looks like that's I can only imagine that's what it's like to be overrepresented in media instead of underrepresented, Because I think of a movie like Encanto, where I watched on the internet, where people with glasses were excited to see themselves in an animated movie. Kids
Yeah.
with big hair were excited to see themselves in an animated movie, and I just think that it's absurd to me that there are so many children that don't get to see themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
As
think that
heroes,
I think
as
it's insane as
princess.
well. Yeah. I think and especially with film, right? Because I don't think media does a good job. I don't think they do a good job of portraying like Black people today. I think it's very minute, or we look one way. Love you, Daya, but really, it's like if you want a Black person on TV, I'm gonna give you Zendaya or I'm gonna give you Lupita. Like there's no in between. You know what I mean? And I think it is an injustice. It's really it it's not good. It's just not good. Like even when you think of cartoons, and by the way, I loved Encanto. Okay, I watched it last night. Okay, we don't talk about Bruno around these parts. I think it's an injustice because it's like or a disservice. I'll say it's a
Mm.
disservice because Black kids want to be princesses too. But little Black girls want to be princesses. Little Black boys want to see themselves as like these superheroes. You know, like that matters when Halloween comes around. Every kid wants to dress up as like the hottest thing. And when you don't see yourself in that, it's almost like, well, am I not that? Am I not magical? Can I not be treated like a princess? Can I not be treated like a prince? Or whatever the case may be. And even when we do get the films, because everybody's favorite thing is like, oh, the Princess and the Frog. Say it, Stanley, because I see your face. Say it.
That's one movie.
One movie. And they were animals.
They were
They were animals for an hour of the hour and 30-minute film.
the same thing happened in Soul.
Thank you. Like I feel like if you're gonna serve, if you're gonna give the girls who get it, they get it. If you want to give, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give. Give what it needs. Like because I feel like there's no problem, media has no problem pushing out trauma films like this. Like this. Oh yeah, this show put it out. Oh yeah, that put it out. Oh, that put it out. But when it's the stuff that like almost feels like like the I too moment, I feel like that is not represented in film. I don't think
I
that's
will
cool at all.
say that this like specific winter season, two really good comedy shows have come out with like Black casts.
Talk
The
to
first
me.
one is Abbott Elementary on ABC. Yeah,
Shout out Quinta because that is my show. Okay.
so
Yes.
good.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
then I haven't seen much of it, but I heard it's really good. I've heard great things about it. I saw like the first couple episodes. Grand Crew on NBC.
What is it?
So it's about a group of Black friends who are in like I think like San Diego or somewhere in California,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like they they just hang out.
Grand Crew.
They're not like
They
being
just living.
they're just living. It's like friends. They're not they're not being attacked or harassed constantly. They're just living their lives.
They're just people.
They're just people.
Stanley.
And they're all different. They're all different people.
Oh my gosh. Like what? Stanley, why did you tell me? I need to see this. I absolutely must see it because though I love Dwayne and Whitley, I can only watch Different World so many times for my no really because I like to see shows where people look like me and they're just living life having
Mhm.
normal everyday problems. Oh, we have no laundry detergent, there's no soap, like that type of stuff. Not we gotta kill 3,000 monsters and still deal with racism. That was a shot at Lovecraft Country. I did not enjoy it. I don't care what anyone says. I didn't. It was too much for me. So you brought up an important point, right? You said in Grand Crew, which I'm gonna check out, you said that there are different types of Black people, right? Why did you say that specifically? Because I know you, Stanley. You be thinking, why did you say that specifically?
So one thing we've talked about on the show is about how a lot of times in media, Black people get represented as like one character type, and that character type is like the Black person. So with Black men, it's typically like tall, dark skin, like really imposing, really like intimidating, doesn't say much, doesn't emote, you know. Then with Black women, it's often like the Black friend.
Yeah. And she's
He's
doing
like
a
helps
lot of
out
this and a lot of that. Yeah.
all the sass, all the support the main character could ever need, and no real stories.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah. And Stanley's like, no, there's more than that. Like there's depth. You know what I mean? Like I too.
I
And
too.
I just feel like that's a wonderful way to say it. It's like I too. Like, oh, I cry when I'm sad. I too. Oh, well, did you know at this race we do this? I too. But we're dealing with I too. I have emotion. I have a story. Like I really I love that. I think that's really really good. And I think about when I think about someone who shows more than one type of Black person, I think of Issa Rae. Love her. I will work with her one day. I'm putting into the universe. And I think about her show Insecure. First of all Black cast, which I thought was amazing in this day and age, because always we feel like we have to include everyone else. So I think she did a wonderful job of that. But there was all the friends are different. They're all different shades, different colors, different sizes, different personalities. They're hilarious, but they do a good job of showing that there is more than one type. Like you got the collegiate homegirl, you got Issa Rae who's trying to get her stuff together and she just don't have it together. You got the funny one. You even got the one, and you have the girl who's corporate America, law firm, you know, that type of thing. With the African roots, like she knows like where she's from in Africa directly. Her parents migrated here, so I think that's a good way to show like difference. You know what I mean, amongst Black people. Yeah. Do you think there are any other shows like that? Specifically, like I think for men, because you all don't have, if I'm not mistaken, you all don't have shows anymore that kind of just show y'all being like chill. And that's why I think of Keenan and Kel was just Black boy joy. Like just two Black friends acted, two males just acting hilarious, enjoying their teenage youth. And I feel like y'all don't see that anymore. Like y'all get shows where y'all are either like agents or spies or trying to figure out how to navigate life, but it's not like normal life. It's like court systems, and we love Tariq St. Patrick, but like that, you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah, like I'm trying to think. I was at the store like last year, and I was, looking through looking at this book. There was a black teenager on the cover. I was like, okay, this could be interesting. I flipped it open, trying to see what it's about, and it was like this black teenager, and he can travel through. He can see the future, right? But they can only see like the brother's future. And I was like, okay, where is this going? This is really exciting. Is it about like a girl? Is it about like college? Because they mentioned college. And then it says, but what will he do when he finds out that his brother will be killed by the police? And I was like, I don't.
give it a rest. Like, stop promoting this stuff. We don't want it. Like, it's hard enough to see it on the TV. Like, give it up,
Yeah.
please. Yeah.
So
It's like, ugh. Go ahead, Stanley.
I can't, I'm like actually struggling to think of a show.
Oh, what's the one? It's a little boy, and it's a my
Wonder
brothers were
Years?
watching it. Huh?
Wonder Years. It was on yesterday. It's a remake, but it's actually much better than I expected. So it's on
MLC.
ABC.
We're Googling Wonder Years. Oh,
It's on.
that's about the guy. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, because the gentleman who just passed, I can't think of his name,
Mhm.
right?
I think so. Yeah.
Is it Don Cheeto?
Um.
I hope I didn't just kill. Yeah, it's about Don Cheadle. Is it Don Cheadle? Did he just pass? Did I kill Don Cheadle? Oops, wrong person. Wrong person. Sorry, Don. Wonder Years. Sorry, Don. Wonder. Stop it, Stanley. Wonder Years is about Dean, right? I'll
Yes.
find it later. But yeah, okay. So
Anyway,
I've heard good things. So good things.
good things.
Okay, good things. I like that. I was also thinking Craig by the Creek. That's what it's called. Have you seen that?
I have not seen it because I missed it. You know what I mean? Like not in this, like in the opposite way where I missed that so Raven. Like I was like I hadn't. It came out and I heard about it after it came out. It was one of those type of things.
Yeah,
So
my brother said it's really good. Like they're obsessed. They're obsessed.
I have heard great things about Craig.
Yeah. And there's this show. I think you'd love it. There's a show. It's called Motown Magic. No
Okay.
more seasons as it should be. Y'all, listen to me, audience. If y'all are ever on Netflix, look up Motown Magic. It literally is about a little boy whose family lives in Detroit during the Motown era. And he has like this magic pen that he draws on a wall, and it takes him to this magical universe. And they sing all the remakes of your favorite Motown songs. It's so great. It's so cute. It's very like, it's just so, I love it. It's music, it's humor, it's great. I love it. And then Ludacris has a show.
Oh, really?
Yes. Oh goodness. Now this show I have to find the name of because it's really cute, and it's also on Netflix. And I think it's the first time I've seen a girl wear a bonnet on TV. And I was like, I love it because I get nervous about not seeing women wear their bonnets on TV shows. It just feels very inauthentic. It's called Karma's World.
Okay.
Okay, she's a rapper, right? I know, right? So Karma is a rapper, and she basically, like, whenever she has a problem, she raps to solve it. It's the coolest thing ever. It's like Dora, but for Black people. Yeah, it's so great. So great.
Documentary came out. It was by Questlove. My parents watched it, and I ended up watching some of it. It was Summer of Soul.
What is that
okay, it was about this concert, right? Like, outdoor concert. And it happened at the exact same weekend as Woodstock. And all the journalists were there, and they had all the footage, and they just put it in the basement.
Oh my gosh.
And it was so crazy. And so there's just this, and it was in the middle of Harlem. And it was like thousands and thousands of people.
I can't wait to see this. See, Stanley, you're giving me my weekend playlist. I can't wait.
It's long, but it's so worth it because it was like each day was like a different theme. So they had like a gospel day, and then they had like Motown day. It was so cool.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, because I see your excitement, right? How did you feel? Like, how did you feel watching it? Like, I heard you say it's so cool, but what was the feeling?
It was nice to know that, like, I don't know, that Black people have been like, I guess having fun.
Yeah.
Forever, you know what I mean?
Yes. Like we haven't always been holding our breath. It's like we've actually exhaled before.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. It almost brings you back to that Black Panther feeling, because that's a feeling like no one.
And there were so many people, and it was like all different types of people, and they were just there to listen to some music and have a great day. It was, and it was so cool. I'm sorry, but like,
no, go ahead. No, because I love the excitement. Like, the excitement that you have is what I wish that everyone was able to have when they saw themselves. Like, if they were able to. So please go ahead.
There was this one part where the moon landing happened during the middle of the concert, and they were like, well, how do you feel about the moon landing? And one person was like, well, I don't really care because I'm at this concert. And then another person was like, it seems like a lot of money going to the moon could go down the street. It was so cool.
It is amazing, really, to see, like, and I love stuff like that, like the documentaries from like that type of thing. And I think that's why I was so obsessed with the Harlem Renaissance, because it was literally just Black people having a good time, just having a good old time, So I love that you got to see that. And my hope is that, like, other young people, like, whether you're Black or whether you are Hispanic, like, where you're not the majority, like, that you get to see representation and you get to feel that this is so cool. Like, look at this. You know what I mean? I think that's amazing. And I shout out to your parents, because your parents are awesome anyway. Hey, y'all. But it's awesome that you got to see that and that they've watched it, and that's the world you get to live in, where you get to see things like that in your home. Because if you don't get it at home and you're not getting it at school, where do you find it? Where do you find it? Man, okay, let me navigate back up, because you took me away from it when we started talking about TV. Because, right? So let me ask you this: based on gender, right? We're gonna get into intersectionality. Y'all remember that from episode 1, season 1? Ooh, right? Do you think women and men experience, and we're specifically talking, we'll talk Black women and men because we can only speak from our point of view. Do you think that Black women and Black men experience things like racism and prejudice differently? Or do you think one has it worse than the other? Like, what do you think?
I don't. This is a really difficult question.
And don't worry, you will not be canceled. Y'all can't cancel my cousin, okay?
I
Go
think
ahead.
I'm just speaking from my point of view. I feel like it's hard to like compare the struggle. You know what I mean? When it's like I feel like it does take different forms. You know what I mean? Like I feel like for women, it's kind of like, or I'll speak for the male perspective. Like as a man, it's kind of like you're pushed. Men are already expected to act and do certain things, but black men are like pushed even farther. And then we're also pushed away from what men are all like, the caring husband, the caring father, that sort of aspect of being a man is sort of like separated from the black identity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's not that. Like you can't be a black man and be a caring father. You can't be both.
Right.
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. We're gonna come back to that because you just reminded me. Stanley, you stay reminding me of something. I love it. So I guess I will give the female perspective on it. I think from what I experience as a woman, I'm not gonna say like one is worse than the other because I'm not, I can't speak the male perspective at all. I think it's tough to be a woman
Hmm.
and be a black woman because black women are already like it's been said,
Yes.
mathematics, the most disrespected person
Oh,
in America is the black woman. And so I feel like that alone says a lot. But then it's also tough when like the disrespect is coming from other black women or other black men, and then like you have other people coming at you as well. And I think it's tough. In my opinion, I will say yeah. I will say yeah. Because I feel like black women are not allowed to ever be soft or gentle, or like when we try to be one thing, then we have everyone in our face telling us we have to be another thing. If we don't, if we make our own money, then it's like, oh, you're too headstrong, you don't want a man. If we're like, oh, I need a man, well, you're a gold digger, you're this and you're that. It's like, look, can we just be? And I feel like from experience, I feel as though there's really no safety net for us. It's like because
right.
they say, women mature faster, so you're smarter than this, and you're supposed to be able to go and do this and this, that, and the third. And it's almost like who babies us when we're tired? Like how women are nurturing and mothering to everyone, even when we're treated wrong. Who nurtures us when we're tired? So from my experience, get mad if you want to, people. I think that it is, I do think we deal with certain things a little bit worse, because it's not just outside, it's inside also. And even if from experience we're like, oh, well, let's care, let's build whatever, it's still like, no, we don't want you. No, nah, out of here. That's just me though.
No,
That's just
I really feel that because like thinking about like how talking about intersectionality, it stacks. You know what I mean? So like it's not like unfortunately it's not like college scholarships where if you get one you can't get any others. It stacks. It builds and
yeah.
it builds. So it's like the you know what I mean, right?
I do. It's like it's not just a one and done. It literally is like, oh, we've got this for you. And we know your plate's full, but take this too and take that and take that. So let me ask you this. And this isn't to put you on the spot. This is genuinely a question because I was having a conversation with my best friend slash boyfriend the other day. And we were talking about he was saying that black men have no safe space either, right? He was saying that they just don't. And I didn't necessarily agree with that. I just felt like there is always someone, whether it be a man, female mom, or I feel like there's always someone who looks out for or wants to baby or whatever men you know what I mean? And I'm not saying it disrespectfully. I'm just saying from like what I've seen, like men always some way have an out.
Right.
What do you think?
I think that's true to a certain extent, but I also know that there are people that don't have that do feel that isolation.
Okay.
But at the same time, I feel like just in general, we as black people, we as people, we do a bad job of supporting each other. You know what I mean? Like we do a bad job of like reaching out to the person that we don't normally talk to. We do a bad job of being setting time, like when someone comes to you and they're not okay, not pushing them aside for something else that you're doing is because what you're doing is important. It's really important. But when someone's in a crisis and they're your friend, it's important to be there for them. And we do a bad job all around, I think. But definitely some groups worse than others and some people worse than others. We do a
Yeah.
bad job of like just caring for each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that I agree with 100%. I feel like you protect family. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you protect family, and I feel like somewhere down the line, we all, whether we dealt with it directly, generationally, racially, we've all dealt with. You know what I mean? Like that trauma has been passed down generation to generation, and so instead of it being, which I probably did name this episode wrong, right? Instead of it being I too, it should be we too. You know, when you think of things like that, when you think of how we handle, deal with, or face problems when we have to try to be allies for each other in situations of racial injustice and prejudice, it has to be a we two thing. It can't just be, oh, Black men are mad about da 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 da. Well, that's their problem because they don't defend us. It should be, let's give them a hand up. And it can't just be, well, Black women swear they so strong, we don't gotta help them with nothing, blah, blah, blah. It should be, okay, look, you somebody's sister, mother, daughter. I have a mother, sister, daughter. Let me help you out. So I think in that instance, allyship does also work in-house, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like men like you, Stanley, and I truly believe you do a wonderful job of speaking up for women, right? So like we've had a few episodes. Y'all go back and watch them because the man was the truth. Why am I talking to y'all over here? Y'all go back and watch him because he was. I thought there was cameras over here too. I thought I was on the show, the talk show. But Stanley does a wonderful job of being an ally. Like you are a wonderful ally to people, right? And we've had a few episodes where you have spoken up on behalf of women, like as spoken up for men about how to treat women. And I think that is beautiful. That's an ally. That is an ally, 110%. And I think, and I applaud you for it, of course. And audience, please feel free to share those applauds with him as well. But I think that drives home the point. It has to be we in those instances because we as a people, whether you're male or female or whatever you identify as, we deal with racism and prejudice from other people outside of our race. We deal with that type of stuff, and only we know how it feels. Only we understand that. We know what it feels like not to have the representation. We know what it feels like to have a conversation with your kid. Okay, look, you're a young Black male. You need to be careful about walking down the street. You're a young Black girl. You know, you have to do things a little bit differently. The world is, whatever. So I feel like in that instance, it's not I too, it's we too.
Right.
We too. We too sing America. We too sing this. We too sing that. So I love that, Stanley. That is, yes, all the way. Yes. Absolutely. You just made me think of In Living Color, where they do the sorry, I'm really aging myself. I love In Living Color. Shout out to the Wayne brothers. So Mike, that was a good one. So let me ask you this, Stanley. How do you are a young Black male, is that correct to say?
That is correct.
That is correct. Because I'm very, we respect all gender pronouns, make sure we're identifying people correctly. You identify as young Black male. So how do you maintain your racial identity in spaces where you find yourself to be the minority? Like, how does Stanley be Stanley still?
I think there's a lot of pressure on Black people anywhere we go when we're the minority to be representative of the whole race all the time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's external and internal. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it's like coming from outside where it's like, well, this is a Black person, so they're gonna act like the last Black person I've talked to and the one before that. But it's also internal because it's like this pressure where it's like, if you mess up, if you do something bad, then it looks bad for all of us.
Yes.
So I feel like it's just kind of like, it's like trying your best to be yourself, I guess. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I'm enough. You know what I mean?
Say it again, because somebody's mom had the air fryer on and she was lifting the food out when you said that. Say it for them.
I feel in order to maintain that identity, I'm enough.
Absolutely. And I think that's the best way. I think that is the best way to sum that up is I am enough. I love Stanley. Yes, I love that. And I'm saying that. That's my answer right there. That is my answer. I am enough. And because that really is the truth. When I find myself in these spaces, I always remind myself of the meaning of my name, of who I am, of what's been instilled in me, and that I have nothing, there's nothing that is taken away from me because I am a Black woman. You know what I mean? Like, I have every right I have earned to be in the space that I am. So yeah, it definitely is a thought process of I am enough.
One
Absolutely.
one thing that always goes through my head, there's this moment in the movie Captain Marvel, um, which is it's a movie. It's not one of my favorite movies, but the one moment that really stuck with me was at the end where she's at the end of the fight and the guy really wants to like hand to hand fight her, and she tells him, "I have nothing to prove to you," and that has always stuck with me since the moment I saw that.
That's what's up. Because I haven't seen it either. I just had no interest in it.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
like that. I like that. I have nothing to prove to you. Yeah. And that's what it's about. It's about running your race. Like, I really like that analogy. My mama says stay in your own lane so you don't crash your car, but I like that I have nothing to prove to you. Yeah. And then I think, like, it's important to remember, because since we're talking movies, right? And I think it's Marvel. Like, I had to think about it so the fans wouldn't get me. Ooh, I almost said DC, but it's Marvel. At the end of Infinity War, right? There's this moment where we all went crazy in the theater, right? Because you know what I'm talking about. We
Yeah.
went crazy in the theater because we got T'Challa and we got everybody who we thought disappeared, and they come out, and there's this moment. I never can think of this character's name, but she was dating Vision. You
Uh,
know who I'm talking about, right? Red something.
Wanda, Scarlet,
Yes, Wanda,
Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Yeah,
Yeah. So she's like looking at Thanos and she's like, "You ruined my life." And he's like, "I have no idea who you are." And she goes, "You will," right? That moment.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think when we go into spaces as Black people, for me especially, when I go into spaces where I am a minority, not just being Black, but also being a woman, because that happens a lot, y'all. It does. It is what it is. For me, I always go in there with the mindset that once I leave here, you're going to know who I am. Like, I bring so much to the table that I bring my own table, and y'all have to make room for it when I walk up in that joint. You know what I mean? Like, and you can't sit at my table. Like, it's just me here because I'm just that fabulous. Like, that's really the mindset. So when I leave here, like, you will know who I am. You know what I mean? And like Captain Marvel said, I have nothing to prove to you, but you're gonna know who I am when I leave. And I feel like that's how I navigate spaces. Especially since I had Kanetta. She was my first supervisor at AmeriCorps. I love her. Hey, Kanetta girl. And she told me when I walk into a room, walk in the room like I belong there, because I do.
Mm.
And that stuck with me. And so I walk into every room as if I belong there. I don't care how old everyone is, the majority. I don't care the degree status. I don't care if they've been doing the job for 50 plus years and I got there 5 days ago. I belong there. And when you walk into spaces where you are the minority, I think that's the mindset you have to carry, or you walk out intimidated, or you get nervous, or you start to second guess the value that you have. And like Stanley said, I'm enough. You are enough. Yeah. Yeah. Come on, Stanley. Yes, I love that. Now, see, I almost want to go watch Captain Marvel, but not enough. Not enough. But, maybe a little. No. Don't waste your time. It's go.
Oh, I will say there's this Black family in Captain Marvel, and the little girl from the family, Monica Rambeau, grows up, and she was on Wanda's show that came out.
The
And,
television, or WandaVision, was that what it
yeah,
was?
WandaVision.
Okay.
And she just stole the show. Like, she was incredible the whole way through.
I
I
love
love it.
it.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though? And I'm thinking about like media again. I think that when they do give us like that one Black character, they're always the most cared. Like, I think of, have you ever seen On My Block?
I have not, but
Okay.
I've heard of it.
Add it to the collection, because it's about Spanish, like it's about like Spanish California. There's a young man, he's dealing with like trying to get out of the gang and all that good stuff. And then there are two characters who identify as Black specifically, Monse and Jamal. Jamal steals the show. Do you understand me? Like,
Yes.
they come for On My Block, they stay for Jamal. Jamal is everything. What I'm telling, when you see it, you'll be like, yeah, I get it. Like, Brett Gray is he is like he's gonna go so far in the world of TV because he's so talented. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep watching this solely to see if he finds the magic, if he finds the money, if they commit the crime. Like, yeah, good show, very good show, definitely.
Oh, I'm sorry. Going
No,
back
you're
to
good.
part of the discussion, thinking of the superhero show that just recently came out, Falcon and the Winter Soldier with Black Captain America. That was that was a moment.
Okay, so you said Captain and the Winter Soldier was
Uh, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That show.
OMG. Okay, so Anthony Mackie, years ago, before you were probably even a thought, I watched the movie. It was a low budget film with him in it, and I remember watching it and thinking, this man is so talented. I hope like he gets his moment. And so I remember seeing the commercial for Falcon, and I was like, I'm proud that he got his moment because he was so talented in this movie many moons ago before you were even a thought, Stanley. Like really a long time ago. Yeah, that is okay. So you said that was a good moment for us.
Yeah, that was a great moment. Like there's a part of the movie where there's like, oh my gosh, I can't even get into it. It's crazy.
I'm gonna see it. You say no more. Oh, another one you just made it come to my mind. Spider-Man into the something verse.
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Epic. Miles Morales is a cool kid, okay?
Yes.
The music was amazing, all of it. And even I think of Jay-Z, he did Annie. He redid Annie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, we can think of some things when we got some time. Yeah, see, but it shouldn't be we need some time. It should be a let's talk about it for real. But yeah, okay, so I need to watch Falcon.
Yes.
It's on my list. Absolutely. It's on the list. Okay. So let's get into these questions. You ready? This first one is gonna make them mad, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. Stanley, you ready? Is reverse racism a thing?
I think it's really interesting that it's no, it's not. No.
Stanley. Well, let's start with this. What is reverse racism?
Reverse racism, from my understanding, because I've never really understood it, it's the concept that I don't get it. Honestly, I can't.
I'm looking it up because and you know it's funny? The first thing that pops up, the myth of reverse racism. So we'll leave it, we'll stop it right there. Yeah, we'll stop it right there. So what have you heard that it is?
So one thing that I've heard about it is like, or like, it's like when people like get offended at you. I've heard two things. One, when people get really offended for being called racist.
Okay.
And two, when people call like an all Black or an all minority project or hiring initiative racist against a majority group.
Know what that sounds like? Sounds like crap. Yeah. Let me tell you why. Because, and this is where I'm going to break out Tiana Taylor's dictionary. I am. Because I feel like it's important that people know actual definitions because Google's free. So why not use the free internet? Racism is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is minority or marginalized. Black people can't be racist. We the minority. We can't be. It don't go.
Racism. One thing that we talked about at Heritage Panel was that anyone can be prejudiced, but racism, you have to be advantaged it's got to be like systems in place for your success.
Stanley, come with the Heritage Panel knowledge. Come on, Heritage Panel, you see it's working out here, right? So let's define prejudice real quick for the people whose mom was lifting the chicken out the air fryer and they might have missed it. Prejudice is preconceived, that's that idea you have before, what Stanley talked about earlier, you have an idea of something before, a preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. Everybody has those. Everybody has those. Everybody has an idea of somebody based on what they've heard or what they've seen, right? For example, yeah, I do it, and I'm gonna call myself out on it. You know how like how you see a 2-year-old in the store, and I see children in certain places, and I automatically assume this child is about to act a plum fool. Like, if I see a baby in a theater, I don't want to be in this theater no more because I know this child is not going. That's a prejudice towards babies. I love babies, not at movie theaters. Whether your child makes noise or not in the theater that's not the point. In my mind, I see baby, I see dark movie, this child is gonna make all the noise in the world. That is being prejudiced towards babies. I love babies, just not at the theater. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Yeah, everyone does it. And if you say that you don't, you're telling yourself a story, okay? It's okay. Check it. Check your prejudice. Sometimes we all have to check sometimes we're prejudiced against people of our own race, and we need to check that. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Everyone has prejudice moments. But racism, yeah, everybody can't have that moment because not everybody is at the what? The advantage. So yeah, Stanley, thank you for that moment, and thank you for that lesson because I think a lot of people get the two confused. So to answer the question, do you think reverse racism is a thing?
No,
Absolutely not.
It can't.
Mm-mm.
It's not it doesn't go backwards.
Yeah, no. It reminds me, I saw this post on the internet, on Nisaa Nash's internet. Hey, Nisaa girl. And it said that there's a problem in the world when people are more upset about being called racist than actually not being racist. So like instead of you not doing the thing or offending the people or calling, being not being racist, you're upset that someone is calling you out about it. And I was like, yeah, that is a problem. That's a problem because there's no accountability there. There's none of that. Like you're actually mad about me calling you something enough that you made up a term for it. That was reverse racism.
Because that's an argument that you use as a kid, right? Like you can't call me jealous because you saying that I'm jealous of your toy is actually you being jealous of my toy.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely. It's like, no. Like it doesn't click. Like when I hear it, I automatically blank out of the conversation because I'm just like, no. I don't think the someone appreciating or trying to create something for themselves should be like, oh, you're being racist. No, I'm not. There's no space for me. So I created a space for me. And if I don't think it benefits what my vision is to have other people in that space who don't look like me, I don't think that is a thing of racism. I think the fact that you're upset that you're not invited or you're not the space wasn't made with you in mind. Because what did you say earlier? You said imagine, oh goodness, I'm trying to put it exactly how you put it.
Imagine being overrepresented.
Yes, you're so overrepresented that the idea that this space is not for you is so mind-blowing. But sometimes that's life. That's life. It's like, that's life. There are certain places I know that as a woman, I'm not allowed, you know what I mean? Like, I know I can't go to an all men's club and be like, hey, yeah, I want to just come in here and play polo with you or whatever you guys do in men's clubs because not allowed. You know what I mean? That's not a space that was created for me to breathe, relax, and all that good stuff. There are all female gyms because some women just are not comfortable working out around men. That is a place for a woman to breathe, be comfortable, whatever the case may be. You don't get to be like, you know what, you're anti-men. No, I just want a safe space. This vision isn't for you. Yeah. And for those of you who I would say, for those of you who are upset about things like that, check your privilege. Check your privilege. Yeah. All right, you ready? We're gonna get to these next ones. What advice do you have for young people who are struggling with feeling like they are a minority, whether that be in their friend group? I know a lot of young people are saying that they feel that way in their families because they may come from like a biracial household and stay with one side or versus the other. So what advice do you have for them?
I think two things you can do. Three things. Okay, I've got three things. The first thing is like really connect, or at least try to connect with people that you meet that look like you when you run into them at school, church, moments like that, and then your family. And then the second thing, the two and three are kind of related. Look on, look on the internet and look on in media where we are represented, and try and live in that almost. It's not the same, and it's not as good as actually getting to be in a space like that. But A Different World's a pretty great show.
Period. Period. It is. It is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it lets you know that it's out there. You know, it gives you something to believe and know, like, okay, this is good. Absolutely. And what was your third one? You said three.
The third one was just like the things, part of that might be like your inner, what you're seeing on social media. What you see on social media every day is determined by an algorithm, but that algorithm's feeding off of you, so you can change it.
Mm. So change the way you see the world. Change what your world is. I love that. You control the narrative. That's what's up, Stanley. I rock with that heavy. That one's important because a lot of y'all spend all, and y'all, we too spend a lot of time on social media. And so it is a big deal to watch what you're consuming. And I've recently been doing that. Like I go through my time and I'm like, I followed you when I was at a different stage in my life. Now I'm here. Let me unfollow. And even people that I maybe have went to high school with or I know them, it's like we didn't really have a friendship, we didn't connect. Unfollow. It doesn't hurt me to do that. And it shouldn't hurt you either. So I really like that point. Because when you change what you see every day, you start to see things differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's good. I would say go back to, like, I'm going back to the Captain Marvel moment. You have nothing to prove. You have nothing to prove. Um, no rain, no two raindrops, no two snowflakes are the same. No two people are the same. And there's something about you, whether you know what it is yet or not. Have fun exploring and trying to figure it out. But whether you know what it is or not, there's something about you that makes you so special that when you step into a room, even if you are the only person that looks like you have nothing to prove to anyone in that room.
Yes.
Period. And even if people start off remembering you, it's like, oh, that's the only Black girl, that's the only Black boy, that's the only Asian girl, that's the only Spanish boy. Guess what? Eventually, someone who is going to end up being an ally is going to say that person's name is. And then by the time you leave there, they may say, I don't even know who you are, but by the time you leave, they will know who you are. So that's mine for that. I just feel like that one's a big one. All right. What advice do you have, Stanley, for the allies out there, for the people who are just got your back thick and thin?
Okay, so I have two things. One, first of all, three things. Okay, three things. Always
three for three, y'all. 3 on episode 3. I love it. Go, Stanley.
So the first thing is just like, thank you.
Yeah.
You get a lot of pushback, you get a lot of negatives, a lot of what you should be doing, a lot of what you shouldn't be doing. But I feel like we don't thank allies because it is difficult, especially for people that are like trying to change, the people that are out there trying to change hearts and minds in places where hearts and minds probably aren't going to be changed.
Yeah.
That is a struggle.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful for the people that are out there trying to do that right now.
Absolutely.
My second thing would be just keep going, because even though it seems like everything is like bad and it's not going to get better, you got to keep going, because like if you guys stop and then we stop, then it's like that's it. That's
Yeah.
the end of it.
Yeah.
And I guess my last thing would just be like respect the space of the people that you're trying to help.
That's
Because like
good.
someone so like playing soccer, when someone's hurt and everyone like crowds around that person on the field, the first thing a coach says is you got to give them some air, and then everybody's to back up, kind of let the doctors come in, let the sports medicine people help trying to figure out what's wrong. There's sometimes in trying to do the right thing, sometimes people overstep, or
Hmm.
sometimes people, put themselves in positions where they might not have the, like we were talking about earlier, they might not have the tools that they need to navigate those spaces properly for no fault of their own. So
Yeah.
that is like ask ask Black people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. I You literally took all my answers because yes, and a triple on the thank you, really, because it's not easy to stand in the face of people who look like you, who are on the opposite side of what you're fighting for, and say you're wrong. That's like if you were to go to like your parent or your best friend and you're like, I do not think what you're saying makes sense. Like, do you know that feeling in your gut? So that's my gut, that's my chest. Like wrong body part, girl, go back to school. But so yeah, so thank you, because allies do not get like all these days they make up, sweetest day, this day, that day. We need an ally day, a world ally day for all the allies, the true allies, because it's not easy. And when you think of places like the South, oh child, being an ally is not easy. In a place where critical race theory has just been banned to be taught in schools, being an ally is not easy. It's not easy. So shout out to y'all for real. Yeah, Stanley's took all my other points because yep, absolutely 110% to all of that. And I would say keep
Mm.
learning, stay updated. I think stay updated so that you know what it is, what's going on, just stay updated. I think that's important because things change consistently. And I'm thinking specifically like just different areas. Like, so stay updated so you know the who's and the what's, because like I said, not all skin folk are kin folk. So it could be like a Black person who, they may be in politics. And as an ally, you think, okay, this person is here to help, but they're not. So stay updated so that you know what the moving parts are. All right. How much time we got? We got 4 minutes. Okay, here's what we're going to do, Stanley. We're going to play our game, okay?
Okay.
We're going to play our game because Stanley came up with a good one. This episode is called I Too. And so Stanley said for 20 seconds or less, we are going to play I Too. And basically, we're going to name 3 songs with I in the title. And we're going to do it in how many, y'all? 20 seconds or less. Let me change my timer. Stanley. 3 songs with I in the title. Okay? 1.
I feel like when I don't get this, it's gonna be my fault because I came up with it.
2. Oh, wait, I gave you 30 seconds. I'm cheating myself.
No,
3.
it's fine. Oh, okay. I used to love him. Lauryn Hill, Mary J. Blige. I'm trying to think. I want it. That's not the name of the song. Oh my gosh.
That is the name of the song, though. Like, I would have accepted that. I would have totally accepted that because I know where you were going. I'm going to give you another 20 seconds because I felt like you were onto something here. Matter of fact, I'll give you 15 just because, yeah. Ready? 3, 2, and I'm accepting your first answer.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. Eye of the Tiger? No, that's a different eye. Yeah. My brain was like, I. Oh, I. Well, that's a different.
But you know what? I love how you were just like, yeah, this is totally it. It was not it, but it's okay. All right. I'm stressed because, okay. And it's crazy because I have a song in mind, but we're not allowed to sing that no more. The Black graduation song is no more. And you know what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. Okay, 20 seconds on the clock. Can you see it back here? I I like the way you move. That is Outcast. I Just Wanna. It's by Starter Fighters. It's I Just Wanna. Da, 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 it's right there.
What was it?
It was Whitney Houston. I believe the children are our future, but that's not the name of the song.
I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Oh man. Yeah, we're gonna move on because I'm in my feelings.
Yeah.
So really quick, Stanley, I have one last question I think would be really good to answer. If you were to write your own I Too poem and have your Langston Hughes moment, what would you call it?
Okay. So this is kind of taking your idea from earlier.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say We Too.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. We Too. Absolutely.
I really like that.
Yeah, we agree. We Too. That's what it's called. Hashtag We Too. Y'all heard it here first. Okay, we just letting y'all know these things. All right, so Stanley, our last final good note. What is one word that lets you know how you feel or lets the audience know how you feel? And the audience, please feel free to drop your own quote I Too unquote poem. If you had to have your own, what would you call it? Drop it in the chat. But our final word check-in, Stanley, we don't cancel this conversation. We just say the world, you know what I'm saying? What would you, what's your final word?
Final word. I'm gonna say uplifted.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I am going to say, I feel like the revolution has been televised. Like what televised? I feel televised. That's my word. I feel televised. I feel like finally saying it out loud and saying it with someone who gets it. And saying it with someone who can kind of push it out to the ears of people in a way that they'll get it. I feel seen, I feel heard, I feel televised. Because everybody watch TV. I feel televised. Yeah. Audience, please drop your one word in the chat. How do you all feel after hearing the conversation, after spending time with me and Stanley's old silly selves for this hour and a half, right? And of course, I want to say thank you so much to the YWCA of Central Alabama. Thank you so much to my supervisor, the associate director of the Family Research Center. I almost called you doctor again, Miss Latasha J. Humphrey. To my coworker, our wonderful case manager Jalen, who is always pushing out ideas. To I have to shout this girl out, Anna girl, you are ally all day. And I know I tell you this all the time, but you are practical, Anna. You are ally all day. When I think of someone who is an ally and who really shows the mission of what the YWCA is about, which is empower women, eliminating racism, girl, that's you. So shout out to you. Thank you thank you for being an ally. Thank you so much. Of course, shout out to the entire IT department, all the communications, Denise, to Pam, to Greg. Thank y'all so much, because without y'all, we wouldn't know how to work all this stuff. Stanley, thank you. I always love that we get to have these conversations. I love that you choose to use your voice, and you do so well, friend, so well. So thank you so much. And of course, to the audience, thank you all for tuning in, for rocking with us. And we hope you all make good choices. Have a good evening, and we'll see you next time on That's why 2K. Jency has the floor. Peace.
Bye.